So, in the bottom right is NoisE. Now is the yellow Terran. And excuse me, on the left side, as the blue Protoss, we have Oxyacety. Sorry, I get distracted by the chat a little bit because somebody said that Oxyacety, that's gonna be the name, that Oxyacety was Dusakwe, and I was like, what? Oxyacety is Dusakwe? And I was like, no, his name is just like Dusakwe. Which I would say no, Dusakwe's name is awesome. Because Dusakwe, like, rolls off the tongue. Maybe not for not native English speakers. I can see why for not native English speakers that might be kind of hard. Because those aren't exactly very easy syllables to pronounce. But I love that name. It sounds cool and it's awesome to type. Like, excuse me, when I was co-casting with Seo once, and I said, I don't like Dusakwe's name, it's just like kind of stupid. Like, what the fuck is Dusakwe? Like some fucking foreign word? I don't even know. And then I typed it out, and like when you type it out, you go, holy shit, that's an awesome name, and he should have never changed it to Lockdog. That bastard. Alright, so PPT, that is not 1-to-1, it is 0-to-0. And we are going to have gateway and a simulator for Oxyacety. And I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong. I almost certainly am. And somebody in chat said that it's a real word, implying that they actually speak the language of where Oxyacety comes from. So like that dude in chat who knows it's a real word, how am I supposed to pronounce it? Because I'd really not like to do an entire cast constantly mispronouncing the guy's name. Alright. Oh, I am putting an N in there because that makes more sense to me. Okay. Oxyacety. I want that N. Yo, that's why I'm terrible at names. Because, ooh, and once I get the pronunciation, I'm fine. And I can pronounce a lot of different things. But when just reading new words, I'd like to add in letters. Just for fun, because it makes more sense in my head for whatever reason. And it's a terrible thing to do in most cases. Like, literally. Okay, I'm sidetracking a little bit here, but recently I have been playing Pokemon cards with a 10-year-old at the place I work. And I'm looking at the names of the cards and remembering what I called the Pokemon. And like, it's still the name in my head. But then actually reading it, I'm like, holy shit, I'm not even close on pronunciation. How the hell did I get this name out of this combination of letters? It is, I think it stems from Pokemon. Like, Pokemon, I just mispronounced the thing, and then I convinced everybody else that no, that's actually the right way you pronounce it. So I got used to just pronouncing shit wrong. And it's clearly haunting me to this day. Work in kindergarten? Why would there be a 10-year-old in kindergarten? Someone doesn't know ages of what grades kids are in. That's fine. Alright. So, first couple goons coming out for Oxyacety. And NoisE has a pretty strong force here with, well, should be 7, but only 6 Marines and a tank. Presumably Vulture follow-up now. Ooh, double tank and Vulture follow-up. And NoisE is sneaking SCV in. to go for a scout on the back side. Interesting. This is going to be a very strong attack from NoisE here, but he's investing a good amount into it. If for whatever reason it was to fail miserably, Oxyacety could counterattack very quickly and pretty much just win the game immediately. But this is going to be a strong attack against only one gate. And Oxyacety went one gate, then expand, then robo. So there won't be a situation where NoisE just straight up loses his army and doesn't do enough damage to Oxyacety, because Oxyacety just does not have a whole lot of units here. He needs to be a little bit careful about allowing Marines to die to ranged goons, but as long as that doesn't happen, and the mine, those goons cannot come further forward. Well, there go all the probes, and the tanks need to back up. Oh, the Dragoon with the mine drags. A nice move from Oxyacety there, using the mine to his advantage. And he cleaned that up very well. I mean, he lost a lot of probes. And that's bad. But other than that, that went really well. And considering that NoisE's expansion's delayed by that much, and Oxyacety's is already up, it's fine losing those probes. Like, he probably could have figured out a way to do that and not pull probes, because the pulling of the probes really didn't help at all. So he would have been up 5 probes, which means he would be just insanely ahead. But now, he's just kind of moderately ahead. He's doing pretty good. NoisE getting a second factory. Alright. Sorry, I'm laughing because Draw has like 7 different AKAs, and he picked 2 AK, and then he just like threw out 2 names and neither of them are Draw. They're like 3 completely separate people. Oh, seriously. Smurfing is an issue. And different names and different forms is an issue for StarCraft Brood War. We need to figure out a way so that doesn't happen. I don't know. Like, we need some kind of... We need voter ID laws for StarCraft. And if you're not familiar with American politics, and not, like, significantly familiar with very current American politics, you don't understand that joke. But, seriously, dude. We need to take a cue from Pennsylvania. Get us some voter ID laws. And we're gonna disenfranchise the Russians. But that's fine, because they don't believe in democracy and freedom and whatnot, so they don't care if they can't vote. Or play StarCraft. Oh, if you can't just go and check people's IPs. Like, it's possible to do, but in this game, I don't know. I don't know what other names Oxyacety has. I don't have a huge data bank that I'm just going to refer to every time I cast. Why are you asking me about Gambit Cup rules? I don't fucking know Gambit Cup rules. Go ask Awa. He kind of does Gambit Cup. Hell, even if I was casting Gambit Cup at the time, I still wouldn't know. I'm like, Awa doesn't tell me stuff, or didn't tell me stuff. Alright, so, NoisE, going for the Vulture drop. Pretty much required on Outsider. You're not allowed to be a Terran on Outsider and not go for a Vulture drop. To the point where I don't know how people are tricked by the Vulture drop at this point. Like, seriously, there should just be a Dragoon here at all times to stop the Vulture drop. Alright, and NoisE is following up with 2 tanks on the high ground. In my opinion, really the Vultures rely on surprise. And the Vultures can do a lot of damage very quickly, but it relies on your opponent messing up and not realizing that that's an option. The 2 tanks on the high ground, unless they already have the shuttle done, like, it's going to do damage. So I've always been more partial to tanks on the high ground in terms of drop, but obviously both are effective. If you can do both, you could try to get double the damage. It doesn't look like the siege tanks are... Oh, they are sieged up in the right location. They just don't have vision. Or they didn't have vision until the dropship came back. Now they do, and you can start hitting the citadel. But Dragoons laying mines. And the probes are going to be running away now. Why are the vultures not attacking the probes? Why are the tanks attacking the vultures? Maybe the tanks are attacking the vultures because the vultures are not attacking the probes. The tanks are telling them they're retarded. Seriously, probes. They're free, and there's like 5 of them, man. Take the free probes. It's like in chess. Your opponent just like kind of moves the bishop out and then just sits it there. It's like it's a free piece, man. Take the probe. NoisE. Leave them the hanging probes. Alright. So, couple of Dragoons. I don't know why they're three Dragoons kind of separated from the rest of the Dragoons, but ooh. Boom, barely. Very barely going to be able to snipe that dropship. Now the Dragoons the Dragoons find some unguarded tanks, but tanks don't need siege mode. Well, maybe they kind of do need siege mode. They're gonna win the fight, but obviously if they had siege mode and we're all sieged up, would have lost significantly less. But now he's in a good position for another attack. Can actually do siege mode. Actually has the vultures to guard. Speed should be done for the zealots. There we go. It didn't look like they had speed at the very beginning there, but getting speed on the way back before immediately dying. And there is a shuttle here. Oxyacety going for the fake. He's faking as if he's going to drop zealots here, but the shuttle is empty. There's nothing to drop. And NoisE is continuing to work himself into a position where he's going to be able to do some good damage. The Citadel's going to go down, but is the Templar Archive started? Ooh, the Templar Archives is not started. So it means he's going to have to rebuild that. I was going to say, that building kind of doesn't matter. After you get speed, the only thing you need it for is a prerequisite for the Templar Archives, but since he hasn't started that, he will need to rebuild that at some point. But he has a little bit more pressing issues at the moment, as these tanks are in a very dangerous position, hitting well beyond the Nexus here, and the Zealots trying to drop 3 Zealots in, trying to get some damage done, but the Vultures are on top of it, picking off the Zealots when they can. There's still 1 Zealot in here that Oxyacety could use, possibly. He might just be waiting for all the Vultures to die. And now that all the Vultures are dead, he doesn't need it. He can just attack with speed loss from front. That's fine. Clearly, man, this is like the Coward Zealot. It's the anti-reach Zealot. Like, they're all doing their paratrooper exercises, and they're getting in the back of the shuttle, and the commander's like, go, go, go! And this Zealot's just sits shaking his head, clutching his parachute to his chest, like, I can't do it, sir! I just can't. And he's gonna have to make the fly of shame. The return trip of shame back home, because he didn't want to paratroop out. Little cowardly Zealot. Alright. So, NoisE with the double armory. And he's getting 2 upgrades, right? Yes, getting 2 upgrades. Those are his first upgrades, so NoisE pretty late with his initial upgrades, but Oxyacety doesn't exactly have terribly good upgrades either. NoisE, ooh, going for a little bit of a risky move there, investing a lot of vultures into attack. He does manage to pull back before he loses a significant number, but if he invested that many... Oh, hello, observer speed. Alright, getting observer speed. But investing that many could mean that the next attack would be significantly stunted. Whenever he wanted to do that. But he really has production for vultures. That's apparently not the issue. There are 5 factories without machine shop compared to only 2 with. And we are loading up for yet another drop as the Dragoons are out in the middle of the map clearing mines. Check the number of workers. I can totally do that. Alright. Boom. Those are the number of workers. 55 to 52. Oh, I did not even use this thing yesterday. I'm contemplating whether I should just, like, permanently leave this up. If that would be a good thing or a bad thing for the cast. I'm not sure yet. Haven't come to a full conclusion. But Vulture Harass, not doing a whole lot, and he actually didn't bring any mines with him. He picked up some vultures that were completely depleted. Interesting decision there. I picked up a couple probes, so in the end, Harass was okay. Alright. So, command center done for NoisE. At the center expansion, he also has this back door. That is 2 mineral onlys, and that's really feeding into why NoisE has so many factors at Machine Shop. He does add a 3rd one now. But he's really going to need a gas base. Another mineral only is not going to help him, and you can make the argument that the 2nd mineral only, this one in the center here, is just not going to be helpful. But we'll see if he can defend it, as Oxyacety's coming in with a lot of Dragoons but nothing else, and if they're going to be distracted by an eBay and by mines, these 3 tanks are actually going to be able to do a lot of damage here. And he's going to be able to win this fight with just, like, these 3 tanks. These 3 tanks are going to be able to clean up at least half. Like, half of the Dragoons are already dead just because of these guys. They have 15, 16 kills between them. And this tank, he does finally lose his 3 tanks, but not before Oxyacety loses absolutely everything but those 4 Dragoons. And then a modest number of reinforcements coming up behind that. Means that Oxyacety just going to impale his forces. That was... He had Zealots, and we saw the Zealots coming in from the bottom direction. But they were not coming in from the right direction. They needed to be coming in from the top and taking out those 3 tanks. He needed to force NoisE to not siege this far back, and then bring those tanks up, like, to this position, and just focus on attacking the command center. That might have worked. NoisE has yet another dropship. We'll see if he wants to use that, and apparently he does. Flying out with that now. We do have a command center here. I'm kind of curious what a Terran player could do with a double gas and no expansion. Like, how does Terran just burn gas? Could we see him with, like, a control group of science vessels floating around and just, like, irradiate all Zealots? That'd be pretty sick. I don't know how else to use that gas unless you're going, like, ghosts or battle cruisers. Those use gas, I guess. He's getting a science facility. Well, that really doesn't narrow down between those 3 options. That's either for science vessels, ghosts, or battle cruisers. He's not ahead enough to be going ghosts or battle cruisers. Like, that would be pretty silly at this point. Alright. Couple of tanks in position here. Stopping that expansion from getting anything going. And all the probes will be pulled away. Not too much of an issue, though. You can just transfer them over to this new base, which is now not an island base anymore. It's just an extension of the back door, as he has mined out a nice big hole for himself. And yet again, another drop. Probably going to be dropping up here this time, and can do the exact same thing he's doing down here, up here. And he's getting that double gas. I want to know what he does with double gas. Like, does he just add machine shops to every one of these and produces pure tank? And he'll have so many tanks that's like, oh, I lost my tank force. Do not care, making more tanks. I can do it. I have the gas. Well, I commented earlier, slightly sarcastically, that Terrans are required to go drops on this map, and every Terran player who has ever played this map went drop on it. but they do it because it works. Because drops are really strong. And when you combine that with the range of the siege tank, it's just so good. Why would you not drop? Yeah, shuttle coming up, dropping in 2 zealots. Obviously not the 2 High Templar. But the tanks did their job. They killed off a mess of probes and a pylon. Easily worth the cost of 2 tanks. Totally worth it. Still watching that science facility. Potentially that science facility could have just been for 2 attack. Because he just started to attack like as soon as that science facility was done. Which would be not only the most reasonable, but also the absolute lamest thing he can do with the science facility. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we got something a little bit interesting. Let's see it, man. I want to see how EMP works. How EMP with science vessels off of 2 gas. Okay, I should stop hyping up the 2 gas thing so much, because really, it's not 2 extra gas. It's just, here are 2 gases combined with a mineral only, or a mineral only, and a mineral only. So, he really does not have a huge excess of gas. We will not be able to, at least not until this base is mined out. They don't have an excess of gas. Alright, so looks like we have some probes a little bit confused as to how they're going to mine from this nexus. This is a very saturated base to the point where I don't think, yeah, he does not have probes anywhere else. That is Oxyacetty's entire probe concentration. Now, you do get slightly more mining out of having an oversaturation of probes there, but usually it's not worth it. Because if you were just hiding a control group of probes, like let's say here, then after Terran comes and drops this and kills off a whole bunch of them, you're not going to immediately lose. You can bring some more probes over and start remining again. Apparently we're just going to wait for this mineral patch to go out. Or, we could transfer the probes. Okay, it looks like that's what he did. He's transferring the probes down to this one. So, Oxyacety going in for attack, but NoisE is maxed. NoisE has his nice upgrades. This is an engagement that NoisE is not scared of at all. Doesn't quite have his 2 armor. It's a little bit of a ways away, but oh, those are some nice storms. Those are some very nice storms that don't matter because the siege tanks have too much range. At least that last storm didn't really matter. No, but he needs to pull back the tanks. He can't quite afford to throw away tanks like that. And a lot of those tanks are injured. I want to see him back off. I want to see him regroup. Instead of throwing away his army right here. Don't do it. No, he's going for it. He's going for it. He's playing the risky game. He might be able to just kill off Oxyacety right now. But man, I think I would have backed off there. Speed lots now coming in. Now it's just the speed lots versus the tanks. Tanks aren't sieged up, but oh, EMP. After all the shields are kind of gone from his ults anyway. And that is going to be enough. Oxyacety GG's. And NoisE, with some very nice drop harass throughout that entire game, is going to take game number 1.